So today we're wiring or trying to attempt to wire, and this was like just a clusterfuck of wires that somebody had wired into the ignition switch and one of the factory fuse boxes. I think I had showed this in an earlier video. It's like a, you know, top dog 90s fucking super chintzy security system. So Tim ended up tracing it down to these two wires, and it basically, you know, one end came from the switch, and then it kind of had to go through the security system, and then it went to the engine. So he just finished stripping those down, and he's gonna make the solid connection from the ignition switch over to that fuse box, hopefully, and then hopefully the starter will kick over with the key. But I wasn't going to make a video, but Tim talked me into it. I didn't want to jinx us.
Yeah, and I just wanted to let everybody know, never buy these.
Oh, yeah. So those are O'Reilly's Top Dog crimpers. I probably won't be able to lose those, but you buy one set of nice ones, you fucking lose them after using them one time.
So we'll probably, if this works, we'll probably just go ahead and get a soldering iron and solder these two together and put some heat shrink so that it's not completely Ted Mac amateur hour.
Yeah, it's not connector into 2 inches of wire, then into another connector, into 2 inches of wire, into another connector. Literally, that's what it is right now. So, yeah, we'll tighten that up. Alrighty. So what we're hoping for is that the voltmeter goes off when he plugs it into this relay that's supposed to kick over when you turn the key on. Sorry about that. A little kick into the camera there.
So here, this is the starter relay.
Yep.
We've got it out. We're just trying to find continuity to the new wire from the new wiring harness. We did not have continuity through the relay, so we're going to use an ohm meter. We're hoping now that we took out that security system that this is going to show us continuity. Nope. We still do not have continuity to this end of the wire that hooks to the starter.
What about into that 7.5 amp starter fuse? Would that, I mean, I guess that probably wouldn't get power. Should be like the second one up. Starter signal.
What?
On the very bottom. Oh. Right here. Should be a 25 amp.
7.5.
This says
second from the bottom.
7.5. Yeah. So that's 25. Got nothing to that either.
But we wouldn't.
Alright, so stay tuned. Alright, so we figured out the starter wire issue. It will crank over with the key now. However, we aren't getting any spark, so I'm gonna hook up HP tuners, see what I can see through there. Tim's gonna crank it over just to kind of show that, you know, we don't have any spark. Let's see what we got here. Okay, go ahead. Nothing. So I'm gonna hook up HP tuners and make sure VATS is turned off. Make sure that I guess that the ECU is seeing spark, and then if it is, then I don't know. Maybe we'll swap out some coils, or do some of that. I'm not 100% on what I'll try next, but yeah, let me get HP tuners hooked up, and then we'll go from there. Alright, hey, what's up, guys? I figured I'd close up this video with kind of how we ended up at the end of Tim's visit. Pretty much got everything wired in like it was before. I figured out my starter issue. The starter now, everything kind of engages the way it's supposed to when you kick the key on. We removed that big security box that was underneath of here. So this just it still looks like shit, but it does look a lot cleaner than it did before. I got my energy short hub and quick release put on, and the the stock wheel off. I got my SIKKY shifter in. This thing is pretty dang cool. It's super short. Still not sure on how to go to reverse on this thing, but I ended up putting a Hurst lever on and a Hurst knob, but I mean that shift location, the wheel should be somewhere in here, and the shifter's just right straight down. It's the throw is incredibly short, still just as sticky as the Tremec one. I'm not even sure where I put the Tremec one. Stock steering wheel. I think I probably just tossed the Tremec one out. So yeah, we got that put in. I ended up having to put a new I don't even know what it's called. I guess a blow off on my air compressor, so that ate up a decent little chunk of time. Chase Bays actually sent me the wrong plug for my crank sensor and the wrong plug for my my pedal, which my pedal is right here, and the plug for my pedal is a little bit different than the one that they sent me. Let's see if I can find the plug. It's up here. So this is the one that they sent me. This is more like a Ls2 style plug, and I'm not sure which one I have. They said it's super common. It's a super common pedal for the for the LS series engines. It must have been the one that came with the G8. I did get my HP tuners hooked up. It's hooked up through the OBD2 port, and I was able to flash my PCM and get all that squared away and turn the VATS off, and that's kind of how I know that the engine's getting the proper amount of fuel. It's getting 58 pounds of fuel, which is the proper amount of fuel pressure, and I think they're looking for like 60 to maintain X number of horsepower. So I'm pretty much right in that ballpark, and that's how I know that my engine is not getting spark. They believe that it's because the crank sensor is different. So kind of what I did with the crank sensor was I had a crank sensor on my old harness, over here, and I kind of just cut it off. I think it's on this side, somewhere over here in this mess. So I cut it off, took the 3 wires from it, and kind of plugged them into the that's right here. You can see that. So this is the plug that they sent me. This is for a 240sx's reluctor wheel crank setup, and I basically took the 3 wires from my 58X. I have it plugged in, and I'm still not getting any spark. So what Chase Bay's recommended is that I modify the sensor. I'm also going to change out my cam sensor, because I've read that apparently that will prevent injector pulse and also spark. So I'm going to get that hooked up, but that's kind of where we're at now. Got the header off right now, and just want the engine to fire, and then I'll actually probably take the driver's side header off, weld a V-band on, and then I'll get the rest of the exhaust welded up, and that'll be that. So that's kind of where we're at now, and I'm glad I got the shifter in. I'm glad I got the short hub in, and it was a really productive visit with Tim. It's always nice to get him out here, and my mom, of course. So yeah, stay tuned. Thanks.